warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you and Allah mercy and blessings. Best wishes for all of us. Dear Sir or Madam Examining Lecturer, I respect Mrs. Prof. Dr. Umi Widyasuti SPMA as Advisor Lecturer 1 and Mr. Dr. Muhammad Yusuf SPMM as Advisor Lecturer 2. Allow me for this opportunity to present my thesis proposal with the title is Analysis of Digital Payment Usage, Modification of the Technology Acceptance Model Theory. Before that, I will introduce myself. My name is Reni Indriani from Majority Management 20 and 20. For this topic of discussion, uh, is chapter 1, construct for research background, research problem formulation, research objectives, research benefits. And in chapter 2, containing theoretical foundation, supporting theory, conceptual framework, and also hypothesis development. In chapter 3, I will present about research time and location, population sample and sampling technique, instrument development, data collection techniques, and also data analysis techniques. Okay, for the chapter 1, I will present about introduction in my proposal thesis. For the first one is the research background, why I choose my title in proposal thesis right now. As we know, the wave of digitalization has surged into Indonesia, bringing with it vast potential for the future. Bank Indonesia in 2020 highlights that this wave of digitalization has influenced key economic aspects, altering transaction patterns of both individuals and also groups, including companies, and disrupting conventional or traditional functions, especially in financial sector. Notably, the widespread use of digital payments in transaction process has become prevalent. The rapid advancement of technology has evidently impacted payment systems within business transactions, and also this shift has inevitably displaced the role of cash, originally used as a medium of exchange, towards non-cash forms of payment. Consequently, there is a need for updates within the payment system. Digital payment system emerges as a response about the concern uh, amidst constrained circumstances. Also, restricted movement means that people around the world must still be able to carry out their daily activity, such as shopping and making transactions. And also, in that situation, they have to bring or they have to make a digit transaction with the payment system. Payment system described in Law Number 23 of 1999 concerning Bank Indonesia Article 1 Number 6 is a complete unit of a set of rules, institution, mechanism for carrying out the transfer of funds to fulfill obligations arising from economic activities. It was also stated that the use of digital wallets is based on several factors, including the principle of trust in digital payments, instrument of uh, 81%, the usefulness factor of 72%, the ease of use factor of 68%, and several other supporting factors. which encourage people to use the digital wallet. So many encourage people use this digital wallet uh, in COVID-19. The increasingly massive spread of e-wallet use has resulted in the emergence of more and more new types of e-wallets targeting users in the current era of digitalization. Many digitalization in payment system, as we know, there is OVO, GoPay, Dana, Link, dan Endoku. Uh, uh, can we see in right slide, that is a picture that have statistically about using a digital payment in province in Indonesia. If we see DKI Jakarta has a number one position for using the digital payments, and this position also supported by the ease of access that is available to access this digital payment. And also from the many uh, digital payment exist right now, Bank Indonesia also launched one of digital payment methods that is widely used by both consumers and sellers as a medium for transaction, which is namely KRIS. With the introduction of KRIS, it has been warmly welcomed by MSME actors in conducting their transaction. The utilization of technology in a business can improve its performance and sustainability. And also, MSMEs are unimportant for the Indonesia economy, accounting for 99% of the total number of business entities in Indonesia. MSMEs play a role in providing employment opportunities and driving the Indonesian company. On the other hand, MSMEs are also not affected by exchange rate inflation because they do not depend on external loans in foreign currencies. The use of KRIS as a digital payment method for MSMEs is based on the modification of the technology acceptance. Therefore, this research wants to explore the determination or factors that influence the adoption and actual use of digital payments by MSMI in the DKI Jakarta area with the research title Analysis of Digital Payment Use, Modification of the Technology Acceptance Model Theory. With the research, it is hoped that research can provide valuable insight for stakeholders, regulators, and also industry players to develop the strategies and policies that support the growth and adoption of digital payments at the MSMI level. Apart from that, the result of this research can also help strengthen the literature regarding technology acceptance model in the MSMI sector, especially in the context of digital payment in metropolitan area, which is DKI Jakarta uh, for the sample. And also for the research problem formulation, number one is does perceived ease of use have a positive effect on trust? Two, does perceived risk have a negative effect on trust? Three, does trust have a positive effect on digital payment usage? Four, does perceived ease of use have a positive effect on digital payment usage? And number five, does perceived risk have a negative effect on digital payment usage? This is the research objective for this research. Number one is to determine if there is a positive influence between perceived ease of use and trust. To determine if there is a negative influence between perceived risk and trust. Number three is to determine if there is a positive influence between trust and digital payment usage. And number four is to determine if there is a positive influence between perceived ease of use and digital payment usage. And research objective number five is to determine if there is a negative influence between perceived risk and digital payment usage. Also, from this thesis proposal, the research benefits include for three sectors. Number one is researchers. For researchers, this research has been served as a new information and insight to strengthen the literature on technology acceptance in the MSMI sector, particularly in the context on digital payments in metropolitan areas such as DKI Jakarta. For the academic, as this research benefit is as additional reference and input for further research. And for practitioners, this research has hopefully as supplementary information and reference for the Faculty of Economics Universitas Negeri Jakarta, students, stakeholders, regulators, and practitioners for further research to develop strategies and also policies that support the growth and adoption of digital payments at the MSMI level. For the next, I will present in chapter 2 about literature review. The number one is theoretical foundation. For this research, I use the theoretical foundation of technology acceptance model or TAM. The technology acceptance model or TAM is research model is an extension of the theory of reason action, which is the TRA used in the principle that a person's responses and perception of something will shape individual attitudes and behavior. On other side, the technology acceptance model describes the behavior of technology users based on benefits use, perceived is, attitude, intention, and also relationship between user behavior and technology. The technology acceptance model is one of the research models used to explain and predict user acceptance of information technology. This statement is launched by Kim 2014. The application of TAM in information technology systems not only involves understanding users' attitudes towards the system, but also involves investigating factors that influence acceptance, willingness to use, or even rejection of the information technology system. The TAM model, developed by Davis 1993, includes six constructs uh, with the contracts. Number one is external variables, perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, attitude toward using, and also users behavior and actual system use. With the picture in below, we can see that this is a TAM model developed by Davis. While the external variables or outside factors are considered to have a direct impact on the construct of perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. Perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use can have a direct impact for the attitude of use, also to behavioral intention and actual system use. So apart from that, behavioral intention to use will also be influenced by the attitude toward using construct and at the same time influence the actual usage construct. Based on the six contracts that in my presentation, there are have the two core contracts that can influence the technology system, namely perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. The relationship between time and the technology and the development of financial technology, which will be discussed in this research, is in terms of the adoption of electronic payment technology, which can be done using e-wallet. Therefore, to help provide a good understanding regarding the option of the adoption of financial technology, the TAM research model is used. The reason for using the TAM model is based on the model's ability to explain cause and effect relationship and also simplicity. The next is a supporting theory that I use for this thesis proposal. The number one is process is of use as a dependent variable. In the TAM model discussed by Davis et al. in 1989, in the research conducted by Fatmawati in 2015, perceived ease of use is the degree to which prospective users of technology are expected to use the innovation without having to exert excessive effort. There are external variables that can influence perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness directly so that they can influence users' intention and desire in using existing information technology. The external variable used in this research is perception of risk by Mutahar et al. 2018. In his research, stated that perceived risk is very important when a client decides to use new technology or services. The dimension of perceived risk may vary according to the class of product service. The number two of supporting theory is perceived of risk. Perceived of risk is an external variable that influences other variables developed by Davis in 1993. According to Suki Swarningsih and Nur Yasman in 20 and 21, perceived risk is the uncertainty experienced by users when they cannot predict the consequence of using a service and potentially incur losses. Kaligis in 2018 states that the addition of perceived risk significantly affects research, especially research on e-commerce and online services. And the supporting theory number three is trust. If the service can be trusted, then prospective users do not need to think twice about using it, because the more trustworthy the service, the greater its attractiveness to the intention and interest of prospective users. In short, trust in service provision is a very important indicator in analyzing financial transactions because customers are vulnerable to greater uncertainty and feeling of loss of control. Trust as an intervening or mediating variable are also used in this research. The use of intervening variables is effective to strengthen user decision, in this case MSMIs, in using risk to carry out their payment transaction. In developing countries like Indonesia, adding external variables, namely trust, is very important because the use of payment systems via the internet or digital technology is still considered risk. Considering the number of frauds, hacker attacks, and exercise. Because the more trustworthy the service is, the greater it is appeal to the intention and interest of potential use. The next is digital payment usage. Digital payments are a type of mobile device used by individuals connected to wireless networks that support financial interaction processes. Digital payments are a type of use of mobile devices by individuals connected to wireless networks that support financial interaction process. Meanwhile, according to Chandra et al. In 2017, e-wallet is a program or service that allows users to store digital money and make transactions easily anytime and anywhere. The use of digital payments is recommended because of the many profitable for users such as loyalty cards, bonus points, coupons, and also prizes. The next is CRIS, or Quick Response Code Indonesian Standard. CRIS is a simplification of the payment system initiated by Bank Indonesia to facilitate digital transaction process to be easier, faster, and also safer. CRIS or READ. CRIS is a combination of various types of QR from various payment system services providers or EGSP, so that it becomes the QR code used in Indonesia. The next is MSIMIs atau UMKM. MSIMIs, according to Law Number 20 and Number 20 of 2008 concerning micro, small, and medium enterprises, which also confide in research conducted by Sarfia et al. In 2019, has different meanings according to the business categories listed in the MSMI itself. Category microbusiness have the definition of a business managed by an individual or single business entity that qualifies as a microbusiness in accordance with the provisions contained uh, in the relevant law. For the small business, have a descriptive, productive economic business that are run independently and are not part of a subsidiary or branch of a medium or large business are included in the characteristic of a small business and are in accordance with applicable laws. And for medium business has a descriptive productive economic business that are run independently and are not tied directly or indirectly to small business or large business, with the amount of wealth or income in accordance with applicable laws. Okay, for the next is my conceptual framework, which is for this left slide is variable dependent. There is have a perceive is of use and perceive of risk. For the variable intervening, have a trust for this variable, and for the variable independent, have a digital payment usage. Perceive, perceive is of use have a direct impact for the trust, and also perceive of risk have a direct impact for the trust. Trust have a direct impact for the digital payment usage, and perceive is of use have a indirect uh, impact for the digital payment usage, and also same for the perceive of risk have a indirect impact for the digital payment usage. And for that, this is a hypothesis development for the research that proposal thesis. H1 perceive is of use has a positive effect on trust. H2 perceive risk has a negative effect on trust. H3 trust has a positive effect on digital payment usage. H4 perceive is of use has a positive effect on digital payment usage. And H5 perceive risk has a negative effect on digital payment usage. For the next, I will present the chapter 3, a content of research methodology. For the research and methodology, there is a have a research time and location. For the time this research is this questionnaire hopefully can be conducted for approximately 2 months from April to May 20 and 24. And for the location is at DKI Jakarta region. For the population sample and sampling technique, population is the totality of research objects that are generalized and have certain qualities and characteristics that have been determined by previous researchers so that conclusion can then be drawn and produce the desired research sample. For this research, the population is SMI actors located in the DKI Jakarta region. And for the sample is contain of 150 samples. That is four variables is consisting of five statement indicator. Then according to Hare et al. In 2014, to determine the sample size, it can be calculated by multiplying the number of indicators by 5 until 10. Thus, 20 indicator statement divide by 7 have 140 samples. To adequately represent the population, the sample size to be used is 150 samples. For sampling technique, I use the non-probability sampling according to convenience sampling, where the sample is taken based on the availability of respondents in answering statements provided by the interviewer. For the data collection, technique used was by utilizing Google Form as a medium for distributing questionnaires. Researchers use quantitative research methods where the measurement of hypotheses user statistical methods which have more objective measuring instruments so that the results of the research using quantitative methods are relatively closer to the expected truth. The data used in this research is primary data. Primary data is a data source obtained directly from original data source by conducting interviews or observation directly or indirectly. For the next is instrument development that is containing for each variable have five indicator statement uh, from the many source journal or article. Next, for the data collection technique used, data collection is conducted by cross-sectionally, where data is collected at one point in time for observation, which, which is in then followed by research and interpretation of the observation results. The data collection technique to be used is a questionnaire or survey using a Likert scale. Data collection in this research are able to collect all the data needed to be able to conduct research and find out the result of their research. The Scala Likert for this research by in its category is very agree with 4 point, agree with 3 point, not agree with 2 point, and very not agree with 1 point. According to Garland in 1991, the use of Likert scale by eliminating the neutral option is able to eliminate social bias or the respondent's desire to give a positive or neutral answer to the interviewer. The next is data analysis technique used. That is the two techniques in this research. For the one is descriptive statistical analysis. Research data obtained from respondent profiles will be managed and interpreted descriptively to produce clear and easily understandable information. The research data to be processed in the descriptive analysis include respondents' age, respondents' highest education level, MSMI sector, MSMI category, and MSMI age. For the number two of data analysis techniques used have a partially square, uh, that is structural equation model atau PLSM. PLSM according to Zudi et al. In 2016 is elaborated based on flexible component-based approach, meaning it provides predictive results without requiring or focusing on the assumption that the data used must be normally distributed. The sample size required to use the PLSM model, according to Chin in 2000, is between 30 and 100 samples. In its analysis process, PLSM consists of three stages. Number one is measurement model or outer model, structural model or inner model, and hypothesis test. For the measurement model or outer model, it is the measurement that demonstrates how each indicator used can represent the latent variable being measured. The measurement model or outer model is analyzed by conducting two tests, namely validity test and reliability test. Validity test is a test measured against the indicator instruments used to measure its variable use. According to Junaidi and Susanti in 2019, validity test is the measurement of the measuring instrument called statement instruments by correlating the score of each statement instrument with the total score. A statement instrument is said to be valid if the calculated R value is larger than the table R value. And for reliability test is used to measure whether the research variables used can be trusted or not. Reliability test is conducted using Cron-Based alpha test. Cron-Based alpha test is performed by calculating the average correlation value of all possible pairs of combination if an instrument is divided into two parts. Statement indicators are considered reliable if the Cron-Based alpha value larger than 0.6. The number two is structural model or inner model. The structural model or inner model is analyzed by conducting three tests. The first is coefficient of determination or R squared. According to Sugiyarti and Megawarni in 2012, the coefficient of the determination or R squared is a measurement that indicates how much the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variable. The coefficient of determination value is considered good if the value produced range from 0 to 1. The second is predictive relevance atau Q quadrat. Predictive relevance is a validation test conducted on the ability to predict the research model. If the predictive relevance value larger than 0, then it can be said that the structural model used has relevant prediction. For the third is a model feasibility test or goodness of fit. The goodness of fit test aims to determine whether the data distribution of the existing research sample follows a theoretical distribution or not. Goodness of fit is also required in some statistical models to determine whether the model used is fit or suitable for the sample data. The goodness of fit test consists of several indicators. On below is the goodness of fit indicator. The goodness of fit indices with the cutoff value is if GFI range between 0.80 and 0.90. The second is comparative field index with the cutoff value if larger than 0.90. And the third is incremental fit index with cutoff value larger than 0.90. Norm fit index or NFI is with cutoff value if NFI smaller than if GF NFI range between 0.80 and 0.90. The fourth is root mean square error of approximation with cutoff value is smaller than 0.08 and root mean square residual cutoff value uh, smaller than 0.1. The third stage for PLSM is hypothesis test. Hypothesis testing is a research testing procedure conducted to determine whether the formulated research hypothesis will be accepted or rejected. Hypothesis testing is done by assessing the critical ratio and the significance value alpha. If the CR value is greater than 1.96 and the significance probability value is less than 0.05, then the research hypothesis is accepted. Whereas conversely, if the CR value less than 1.96 and the significance probability value is greater than 0.05, then the research hypothesis is rejected. Okay, that's all I can say in this proposal seminar presentation. More or less, I say for sorry. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.